We're gonna start the interview. Okay, Flavio Monopoli.
Hello.
Yes. So, do we talk about Los Angeles?
You really want to start with Los Angeles?
I want to start with what you're excited about Los Angeles.
Palm trees. And no,
Do you have a car down there?
I don't yet. No, I have to get one though.
What about your car that you've got outside?
It's got winter tires that wouldn't really work too good in Los Angeles.
Okay, but you've joined a band down there and you're getting into other production stuff too? I need to ask you this just so we get a little bit
Well, why are you talking to me like you don't know anything about me? That's the main question.
Okay, then let's talk about, what we do know.
Okay.
You got out of jail 3 days ago.
Yeah.
I bailed you out. I'm
You did.
never going to see that money again. Ever.
I'll never give it to you ever again. Thank you very much. But you should probably also tell them that it was your sister. No, let's be serious.
Okay, yeah.
No, let's be serious.
I want a serious talk, man.
Okay, but I moved to Los Angeles, but I've only been there for like a month.
Yeah.
5 weeks, so it's a little early to get anything really going. But I've been talking to a ton of people, and I've met with a ton of people. And
I want to ask you this: are you going to open up your own studio down there?
I actually never really wanted to own a studio in the first place. I always
Do
wanted.
you know what you're doing with the little tweaks?
Not really, as you've told me many times in the last 10 years.
No, I think you need a little more dirt
Right.
in your sound.
You're right.
It's
a
too
little
clean.
You don't
it's
like
too
the clean.
NASA.
It's
like,
actually,
we have another mix from Flavio Monopoli.
But the truth of it is that the only reason why it's like that is because a lot of times.
My God, I could eat off this mix. Commander Hatfield, you need to calm down. This music is so perfect sounding.
My turn.
What?
No, the reason why my mixes are like that is they're not,
Haven't been
sound
treated?
isolated. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
necessarily treated. So, in order to get around the noise, to eliminate the noise floor, I do a lot of editing to sort of try and bring the productions up to
Yeah.
a certain level.
Mediocre level.
Pretty much. But I try to emulate your drum style when I'm doing that. Like, my production is equal to your drumming. So it's
Hurts
pretty
so
good.
good.
It does. So owning a studio, I never really wanted to own a studio anyways. I always wanted to have a bunch of gear, and Daniel Lanois had an impact on me that way because he, in New Orleans, used to do records in his house, and there were cables running all over the place. And before seeing that, I always imagined that it had to be in a recording studio, and it had to be very sterile, and
Yeah, he's sandbagged. Right? He used to get sandbags.
Yeah.
Just go cover the floor to ceiling.
yeah. But more important, like, it was about the vibe for him. It had
Yeah.
nothing to do with quality of sound, although his quality of sound.
Yeah,
It's,
doesn't hurt.
No, it's kind of like when Dave Grohl says we're going to make a record in my garage,
Yeah.
but then he hires Butch Vig to produce it, and then he brings in $3 million worth of recording equipment.
Yeah.
That's really not making a record in your
Making a
garage.
record. And you don't see the $500,000 that went into treating the garage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you also add Dave Grohl and what's his drummer's name?
Taylor Hawkins.
Who did he play with? What did he do before that? Oh, right, Alanis,
yes.
Canadian Connection. He's
Yeah.
an okay drummer.
Yeah.
He's like a Kelso.
Very so-so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a Kelso. Wait till you see the Kelso footage, man.
I know, he's a monster.
Yeah.
I actually love Kelso, he's awesome.
Well, if you don't, you're kind of...
What I don't like about him, though, is that he's so ugly. Like, I wish he wasn't as good looking as he was. Do you know this one time?
He's good looking.
This
And
one
he has style.
This one time.
Where's my hat?
Wait, Denise Grant, do you know who she is?
Sony?
No, Denise
No.
is a photographer.
Oh, no.
Right? So, I was over at Denise Grant's studio doing photos for an album cover that I had produced. And she said to me, I'd really like to do shots with you because I think you have a really unique look.
Something can't be
But-
really unique. It
but-
can only be unique.
That's true, but she
you can't
used...
make more unique. It's like,
Well, for her, it
here's
was
some
really unique.
asparagus.
But wait, let me finish my
like
story.
trying to make something more asparagus
Can I
than
finish my
asparagus.
So she
You
says,
can't do that.
you're right. So she said, you have a very unique look.
Very unique.
So she says, you have a unique
Bringing
look.
out into a rash.
Yes. So she said, I'd really like to do shots of you because it would be really interesting to do that. But first I have to call the person that I use for my tests normally to make sure that it won't upset him.
Like tests?
Like tests, like her photo tests, like studio photo tests, to make sure that it won't upset him. And I said, oh really, who's that? She said, this, you might know him, a drummer named Mark Kelso. And I was like, oh, it's too bad that he's so ugly. Do you know, this is a map of Africa.
Or skilled or qualified. Yes.
And I once, you know how on your, well, you don't have an iPhone. I can't
Hang on a
believe.
sec. Sorry.
Right. So the thing is that on your, if you had an iPhone, there's this thing called Google Earth, and it gives you directions, like driving directions. So I tried to see if you could drive from Cairo to Johannesburg or to Cape Town.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if you could do it, and you can't do it. Well, there's two things that are an obstacle. First, there's the desert, but it's actually more geopolitical than it is geographic.
Well,
the
Flavio, what you have is called the Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, and they're terrorist organization that's all inland.
Right.
That goes all the way across like that. It doesn't go all the way to the borders.
Yeah.
So the level of banditry is pretty staggering.
Right, but what you could do, as I discovered, is you could leave from Cairo and drive along the coast all the way around here. So you go through Morocco. I'm serious. Morocco, you go to Casablanca, Marrakesh, blah, blah, blah. And you come down this way. And you could actually come all the way along here. You could Côte d'Ivoire, not very safe, but you could still make it through here.
Yeah.
Like the roads, it actually gives you the roads.
This is not really safe.
No.
All of that.
It actually will give you the route all the way if you do it from around, right? And then you come down here, but then all of a sudden it won't let you drive through Angola. Like it basically says, do not go. Stop. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Is it a Portuguese thing?
Maybe. So Angola is kind of a no-go,
Right.
and then you can get to South Africa from there. But then on the way back, if you decided to go the other way around, you could get. This is easy. Like you can go from South Africa, you can go through Zimbabwe, which used to be called what?
Rhodesia.
So good. Rhodesia, and you can make it all the way up here. But then there's this part of Africa called the Sudan. It says don't go. Can't go. So again, you get blocked here, and you can't go anywhere from like South Sudan up to.
Yeah,
like
this is the second time you get blocked, right?
Yeah,
right here.
Like
Yeah.
you get blocked here and you get blocked here. So
This is all awesome, smooth.
yeah.
Egypt and Libya,
Well,
Tunisia.
because it's kind of like wannabe Europe. Like that's all that is.
Hey,
Like,
one currency, baby. All right.
I know.
Yeah.
but I really thought it'd be an interesting trip.
You know what? I did take a taxi from Tamale in Ghana to Kumasi.
But you're not even pointing it.
I can't even find it. Yes, we're on. Okay.
We've recorded.
Okay.
Oh,
Adam Warner.
Adam Warner. We have to talk about
We
him.
got cut off there. Sorry.
Okay, well, here's what I would say about Adam Warner. Adam Warner, I think, is there are a couple of guys that I've met in my life who just think about it different. Hear things that nobody else hears, and come up with these ideas that no one else would ever imagine, right? And he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Like we went to see him the other night, remember? And he played a couple of things that on stage that night that I could play the notes.
Yeah.
You know, like I
He
have
would
no
play them.
Yeah. I have no problem executing what he played. But I would have never thought to play what he played.
It's because you're not educated, man.
Whoa.
Can we be honest for a sec?
Right. Okay.
We're back. We had some interruptions there.
We're back.
Yeah.
Now we have noise. We have accompaniment on the drums. Captain Chaos and his wonderful orchestra.
Flavio Monopoli. This is one of my dearest friends who I've known for too long. What I respect, just want to say this.
You're saying this in the test reel so that you can delete it?
No.
Oh, we're going?
It's not even rolling.
Oh, we're rolling.
Yeah. Since no one's listening, it's just like I don't have you in Toronto for very long. I was trying to have a sincere moment.
And why are you? There's continuity problems.
I had a wardrobe change. This hat is a lighter flannel than the previous fucking flannel he was wearing.
Where's the continuity person?
Fine.
Where is she?
Here.
It's always a she. Because you know why? I don't think guys can keep notes properly. Because every time you see it in a movie and it says continuity, you know, like
It's like the
Casino
watch.
Royale. Casino Royale. Can you imagine the continuity issues with like trying to rearrange all of those chips on the poker table
Oh yeah.
after
yeah.
every scene? Like move the camera and then you have to rearrange all the chips so they have the same.
Well, they mark the chips.
Come on.
Every time they mark the chips, they
But it's a
throw the
woman.
guy out. You can't mark stuff in the casino. Out.
But it's the woman. It's a woman who takes those
Continuity
notes.
bullshit.
It's the woman who takes those notes because
What are you
Because
saying?
guys are dumb and they can't keep notes properly.
What are you saying about the women?
No, see, now you just ruined it. Because now you just made fun of deaf people. Apologize to the deaf people.
They read lips. What? See, right now they don't know why you're laughing. What I wanted to say is the amount of times that I have been inspired thinking of this man in all kinds of situations in life are too many to count on one hand. It's been 6 times. I've been inspired 6 times. No, it's true. He has titanium cojones. He has nuts of steel. And he just has confidence in many situations that is truly inspiring. And it's not just me who feels that way.
So the reason why I don't tech anymore is or the reason why I don't want to tech in LA is because I found that my career kind of took a sidestep. My musical career took a sidestep to being in the music industry and making money in the music industry when I should have been playing and I should have been writing. So with this new move to LA, I really want to push hard to not do that side of it. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like I loved it and I learned tons. Like I worked with everybody, number one. You know, you named the person I you know, and spent at least a day or 2 with them and had the opportunity to tour with people that, you know, did some promotional tours with Pink and worked with In Excess and worked with Avril Lavigne and the Bare Naked Ladies and recently the Beach Boys and Don Felder.
Down in the States.
Yeah, so, but I'm trying to stay away from it because, you know, it's not, there's definitely a divide. And I really, when I started, I thought, oh, it's going to be great. I'm going to be around those people. I'm going to, you know, I'm still going to be in the music business, but there's a line there. And that line does not get, or very rarely does it, can you cross over that line?
Yeah, like
you
the
know?
guys in Perfect Circle will cross over and stuff. And
Right. Or
text to the stage, you know?
Right.
To the studio. That's pretty rare.
Right. So it doesn't happen very much, and so I want to concentrate on being a musician. I want to work the way that I worked here.
Yeah.
I want to be able to continue to do what I was doing and make a living at it.
Yeah.
That has slowly been taken away from all of us in Canada.
Damn right.
And all that I would really like is for projects to kind of line up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because in the last little bit of living here in Toronto, I felt I was beginning to feel that I was spending a lot of time trying to get the next gig. And it would just be nice if that kind of lined up a little bit more for me. And maybe, hopefully, in LA that might happen.
We, as freelance musicians, we're basically experts at measuring the degree to which the grass is greener on the other side. You know, we've got like, you want 50 hues of green, we know them all. Better pay, better people, better music. You know, we're like rarely satisfied. Do you think in LA you're going to find that there's more of a, it's more swollen in the middle, you know, there's more mediocrity, there's more everything. I mean, it is a $13 million, or 13 million people populated city.
Want to try that one again?
The
city has a population of 13 million? Is that what you meant to say? He's not even speaking Italian. He's making
Italian? Speaking Roman. Don't they speak Roman in Rome?
What?
Non-illegitimate to come around them. Don't let the bastards break you down. This is Africa, my friend.
I know, but it's really, what I love is it's a map of Africa, but Sicily's on the map.
Hey!
Hey-oh!
Oh, that's right.
Nina! Sicily, see? Map of Africa. Hey. Sicily.
It's all connected, man.
West Africa. I don't know, what we were just, you asked me a question, but I don't know. Oh, am I gonna find happiness?
No, in Los Angeles, the quality criteria that you're looking for that you couldn't really find here, you're confident that you'll find it down there?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. You know what? It's a.
You're just starting. It's not fair to ask you these questions.
Well, it is fair. I mean, why am I going there? What's the point of going there? The reason is, I hope that as things thin out here, you know, that maybe it's still going there, and maybe things are still rolling there, and it truly is still rolling there, you know. But the funny thing is, I'm not alone in making this move. Like, there's tons and tons of people who arrive on Friday, and there's tons and tons of people who leave on Monday because they, you know, over the course of even a very short period of time, it all fell apart for them.
Is it more expensive than New York, or?
I think New York, Toronto, and LA are probably on par.
No, I heard Vancouver's more expensive than. Vancouver's the most expensive place in Canada.
But I just said I think New York, Toronto, and LA are on
Sorry,
par.
this is your interview, and I don't know why I
You're not
jump
even
in
listening.
and interject.
You're just waiting for me to finish my sentence so that you can say the next thing you want to say. Are
I'm
you
just-
okay?
I'm
Are
just-
you tired?
I'm just waiting for
You're
you to
white.
finish your sentence
Right.
so I can say the next thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So the statement I made was I think
I'm
Toronto.
not tired.
The statement I made was I think Toronto, New York, and LA are on par
On par with what?
with each other in terms of the cost of living.
Yeah.
There, I mean, it might be a little different, but it's pretty much the same. You know, people said LA is really expensive,
Yeah.
but LA and Toronto to me are pretty much the same thing. I've practiced in this room. Thank you for letting me use this room.
It's my pleasure, man. That's what it's for.
You know, every time I need to practice, I'm just like, Adam, can I use your room? And you're like, yeah, man.
What are you
go
gonna
ahead.
do in LA for practicing? Where are you gonna do that? Randy's?
Randy is pretty cool.
Randy Cook.
Randy Cook, yeah.
Yeah. President of the Randy Cook Army people.
Yeah.
And fan club.
Yeah, me, only me, apparently. But,
You want to call Flav? Randy, LA, Randy, LA. It's like all he talks about.
In
Randy, LA. In LA, Randy.
in LA,
I don't want
things
to call
happen
you in
like
LA.
Randy has a really nice space.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like your thing. And he's got a drum kit set up, and he said I could use that whenever I needed to.
Even though you're left-handed.
Well, we haven't really discussed that yet. And after this interview, he might get a little upset because the rule is you can go and play drums. No bands allowed. It's just a drum room,
Yeah.
and you're not supposed to touch any of the shit. You're supposed to just. But maybe he'll make an exception for me.
Yeah, you're going down to one of the low IQ capitals of the world.
No.
LA.
No.
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 Okay.
You can't trash my new home.
High IQ. Kind of mid-level intelligence quotient city capital of the world. Los Angeles. Are you going to tell people you're a Canadian? Where the fuck are you from, man?
Why would you?
Montreal.
I'm from Montreal.
Vancouver.
Then I lived in
Austria.
No, I'm not from Austria.
Where do your parents come from?
My mom's German and my dad's Italian.
What kind of sexual position produces the ugliest children?
If you ask my mom, she'll tell you. You can't know. You can't diss Americans. Although I mean,
I love Americans.
so do I.
Yeah.
I'm ecstatic that they let me in.
The border's 20 kilometers right there over the lake.
I know. You said earlier, and we lost that footage because there was no audio on the video. It was my fault because someone showed up to do an interview and didn't have enough room on their camera, so we had to use my iPhone.
That was.
And my iPhone, although it
Sucks
didn't work.
to make a-
Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, so no, what was explained? Well,
And
you
you're a
said
professional audio guy.
that's true. Actually, way to dig. What you said earlier was that you felt that there was a global decline
Yeah.
in the music industry, and that what's happened in
We're like
Canada,
this.
what's happened in Canada
Yeah,
is
we're
not
right
an
there.
isolated
Yeah,
thing.
totally.
And I said that there are certain things that happen in Canada that are specific to Canada, and that those are parts of the reasons why it's difficult to be a musician in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And those reasons are because we have the second largest land mass and a very small population.
Yeah.
And it makes it very difficult to grab onto all that population.
Can you imagine gigging in Russia?
But it's the same. There's no. You don't have Russia.
I have USSR right up there.
Oh.
Okay. I think just riffing on your idea from earlier about going into the tattoo removal business together, I think it's a great idea. And
Do you have tattoos?
I have no tattoos.
Why don't you have
I don't have tattoos.
I don't have tattoos.
I don't
because
want to be like everybody else, man.
That's not
you
why.
Have tattoos.
I don't have tattoos because I can't spell, and I'm afraid that if I get life is hard on my neck, that
You put in Chinese.
it's going to be spelled wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid of that. And actually, I actually have a lot of kind of respect for anyone who gets hope, wisdom, prosperity in Chinese characters tattooed on their neck. Because you're really trusting, and generally you're trusting that another North American person is actually putting that on your neck. And in reality, you could walk down the street in Hong Kong or in Beijing at one point, and the person goes, ha, 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 and you're like, what? And they're like, what? And you say, well, it says, whatever it's supposed to say, and the guy goes, that's not what it says. It says, my mom's last boyfriend was a pig, or something.
Flavio, he has it on his back. It's a tattoo. Over here, he's got a huge skull, and it's puking out naked chicks across the back of his shoulder blades. And then underneath that, he has a huge naked chick puking out skulls, and it goes the other way, and it's just this cycle of
Life.
insanity that goes around. Karma.
Karma. Is that what it is?
Rock and roll karma.
Right. No, actually, I don't have any tattoos.
You do.
No, I don't. I don't have any tattoos. I almost got a tattoo when I was going to university. And I'm so glad I missed out on that.
Yeah.
Because there were 5 of us, and we all got really, really, really drunk. And we went to this tattoo parlor in London, Ontario. And they were putting money on the table, and the guy kept saying no. Guy kept saying no, kept saying no. And they were like, come on, 100, 200, 300. And I was like, yeah, I'm not spending $600 on a Looney Tunes character that you're going to put on my leg. And that's what we were going to do, because we were like, dude, we'll do it. Like, you could, I was from Montreal, right? So they're like, you could get like Pepe Le Pew smoking a cigarette on your... I'm so glad I missed out on that whole thing, because the 4 of them actually ended up like $600 or something for these stupid tattoos, and they all got really massively infected, and it was totally gross. So I missed out that day. And since then...
You've relocated to the land of mega superficiality. Yeah, and kind of a lot of fake people, a lot of great people.
Why do you say they're fake? Why do you say they're fake?
Because
why are they any more or less fake than people in Toronto?
That's fair, for sure. There's a lot of trendism here, and
yeah,
we're all guilty of that, of being,
flying
those flags, and,
yeah,
for sure. But it's a little more pronounced in LA. Everyone wants to be a movie star. Everyone wants to be not everyone, but there's a lot of rock starism.
I think there's more movie starism than rock starism.
Is there ever? Like, people from all over the world are just they're all misty-eyed from the prospect of becoming movie stars and becoming famous.
But yeah,
it's not the same level here.
Right, but the key word there is famous.
Yeah.
Nobody, and I've noticed that already in the time that I've been there, that there's a it's not about craft. It really is about celebrity. That's what everybody is. Maybe not everybody, but that I think a lot of young people are more preoccupied with with fame and celebrity than the craft.
Right.
But
there's a billion people who are preoccupied with the craft too, but
yeah, but those aren't the people who pollute LA or Toronto or wherever they make movies, because they make movies in Atlanta and in Vancouver. Obviously, they make lots of things in Vancouver, and I think it's that pursuit that is what you're describing is the superficiality and the negativity about it. Because those who are really truly into their craft and want to be successful in the arts, and that's their focus, right? I want to be an actor. I want to be a musician.
I want to be a star.
That's where it goes wrong.
Yeah. Right.
That's where it goes wrong, And people say that to me all the time. People say, "Oh, you moved to LA because you want to be famous."
Yeah, no.
And
it's foolish for me to bash the States at all, claiming the shot. But I really.
I just want to be happy, and I want to make music, and I want to make good music, actually. Yeah. And it's funny because I've learned that over time, and I'm 42 now, and I was married pretty young, first time, and I think if you talk to her name's Shelley. I don't want to refer to her as her. If you talk to Shelley, she would probably tell you that early on, my focus was definitely celebrity and was never happy. Would finish making a record and would get on the radio, and I would be momentarily enthused by the fact that we were on the radio, and then I would just be like, okay, let's move, we got to get bigger and bigger. Yeah. So she would say that, and over time you learn, and it's funny because a lot of the young people that I work with now, I talk to them about that, and I actually tell them that their focus is misguided, and that they need to worry about the art and not so much about celebrity. And it's it's funny. You learn. Everyone continuously learning. I know you're not too big on meeting like heroes and stuff like that, but there have been a couple of times where I've had the opportunity to meet people that I really admired, and one of the times was Bruce Fairbairn, and it was right at the time when digital was starting to really happen, right? And I remember saying to him, do you have an aversion to the digital medium, or would you rather record an analog? And you know what his response was? He said, when it's on the radio, is anybody ever going to be able to tell the difference between analog and digital? It's a good point, because it's all about the art. It's not about the contrivance.
Contrivery.
Okay, make up a new word if you want. So it's not about the medium. It's about the art, right?
Oh yeah. I hate meeting heroes.
Yeah, you don't want to do it.
No.
You said that.
Because the framework it's not the right framework for you as the guy who really reveres the person to express what they mean to you. And it's not the correct framework for them to receive that expression of admiration. You know, really, it's just about respect. But we don't have it set up in our culture for that exchange to be natural. You know, I'm imagining that in other cultures, there's a gesture, there is some kind of symbolic, you know, device or something you can physically hand a person, even a token of your respect. Literally.
Why would you give somebody a gift that you don't? Like,
because it means something, you know.
But why?
But in our culture now, we don't respect as much as we actually over revere and idolize. We really idolize people, and we put them, our artists, and we really pump them up to this. We elevate them to this godly status, which is just really wrong and unhealthy for everybody. So if you're a star and I meet you, oh my God.
Well, like when you asked me to do this interview.
Then I'm no longer myself. I'm uncomfortable. You feel like a dick, and nothing. And then I regret the moment for the rest of my life, and you regret it, and you've forgotten it, you know, as soon as it's done.
Right.
Versus like some other kind of pre-established way of communicating, making this exchange that could really happen.
There's a couple of good examples for me, anyways. That like, I used to work in a drum shop in Vancouver. I used to work at Tomley Music, and actually some of the best memories of my life were in that space. But one of the differences between a drum shop in Toronto and a drum shop in Vancouver is that in Vancouver you can actually play all the drums. Like Saturday in this drum shop was chaos.
Were the guys wearing earplugs who worked there?
Wearing earplugs, you'd answer the phone and you'd be like, "Oh, Tommy Music! What? 14-inch ambassador? No, we don't have any of those, right?" Like, it was crazy, like, because there were 16 drum kits and there were 16 people playing drums all at the same time. But it was awesome at the same time, right? But one of the things, we also had these drum rooms for practice and also for lessons. And one of the greatest things that has happened to me is I recently got an email from this guy from Australia who I didn't remember. And he said, "Flav, I'm so happy to see that you're making music and that everything's going well for you," which it hasn't. It's gonna hopefully do better than it was doing, and that's why I moved to LA. But he said, "I'm really glad that things are going well for you. And you probably don't remember me, but you had a huge impact on me, because when I was traveling and I arrived in Vancouver, you would allow me the opportunity to practice drums in one of those drum rooms for free, just so that I could play for a little while every day while I was in Vancouver." And he said that had a huge impact on me, and I think about you all the time, and I appreciate it quite a lot. And so that to me is really cool, you know. And it has nothing to do with celebrity or fame or anything like that. It's just an interaction between human beings, right?
Yeah.
And I was that made an impact on him, and it also means a lot to me that I was able to give that to that person, right? But the flip side of that is I've also been in a position where I've met some famous people, and when I was in Velour in Vancouver, we were given the opportunity to meet Ray Davies from the Kinks.
Yeah.
And Ray Davies from the Kinks was a big influence on the three of us in the band, right? Because like we were kind of like Beatles, Rolling Stones, Beach Boys, Kinks. Like that's kind of, you know, where our commonality came from as a band.
Yeah.
And so we were invited to go to the Virgin Megastore to meet him, and we met him in back offices. And John was a huge fan, and John brought like a first pressing of a Kinks record,
right,
that he wanted to have signed. And we had heard that he was not in the best of moods. He was late for the signing that he was doing because he had written a book, right? And there was also a play or something that he was doing at the same time. So he was on this tour to promote this book, and we had heard that he wasn't in the best of mood, and he was late and all that kind of stuff. And sure enough, when we were back with him, John asked him to sign the record, and he wouldn't sign it. He said, "If you want me to sign something, go buy my book."
Yeah.
You know. But what it made me realize is, like, everybody has bad days, and everybody is a person. And,
Sure.
and just because you have a skill or you have a talent that might differentiate you from everybody else, or just because the rest of the world might elevate you to a stature.
He's really telling the situation to fuck off, right? He's
Right.
saying this situation is not cool. I'm
Right.
forced into it.
Right. You know?
Yeah.
So it made me realize, number one, that I still respect him as an artist, but that I don't really care too much to meet anyone like that anymore.
Yeah.
And if I do meet them, it also changed my perspective from
peer, or from fan to peer.
Totally.
So when I meet someone, if I'm put into a situation where I can meet a famous person,
Yeah.
or a musician specifically, I always view that exchange as if they're just my peer.
Totally.
We're all musicians.
They can smell it on you.
Yeah,
You know,
and it truly, in the music business, as you know, like anyone who works in this business knows that like you can sustain a really great long career, but never make a ton of money.
Yeah.
And then someone else who might not be as good as you technically might get the break.
Yeah.
You know, as drummers, sometimes
So true.
it just happens that the drummer. You end up in a situation where you're not the best drummer, but you're playing with two guys who write great songs.
Yeah.
And those guys with those great songs are what take you to the next level.
And your personality might really gel with them.
Right,
Okay.
whatever,
Yeah.
you know, because, and you know that too, like
Yeah.
the music business is like 50% talent and then 50% just being able to get along with people.
So true.
Because if they don't like you and you can't get into a bus
Yeah.
or
They
get
won't
on-
tell you why. You'll never know why. You'll have to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, but generally, I mean, I think more often than not, because you get the gig because you have the talent. You keep the gig because they like you,
Yeah.
not because they like the way you play.
So how come you don't get gigs?
Well, because nobody really likes me. No. Well, I've had occasions like that. Like
You know what works? What works with meeting celebrities, what I found, is you go up to them, pay them a compliment that's sincere, you walk away. And then if there's going to be any further conversation, they approach you, and it's cool, and it's real. That's it.
You and Adam Warner, two good friends of mine, who I respect a lot for your integrity and for the fact that you, like me, are not giving up. You are trying to figure out how to make your thing happen, you know, in whatever means you need to make that happen. And you have the wherewithal to continue to do your thing. And I respect that a lot.
Thanks,
because a lot of people are jumping ship.
Yeah, I know.
You know, and like when we go see Adam Warner play,
It's his life.
When
you
you-
can really
yeah.
tell. You know, that's what I get from him, is that it's actually,
Yeah.
this guy, it's important. Like, it's real.
Yeah.
You know? Not to say that he just eats and shits drums all day, every day. Like, no.
Yeah.
He's doing all kinds of different stuff.
right.
But his commitment is pretty serious.
Right.
It's really staggering.
So what I say to you is, because we're not going to be face to face as much anymore, is don't do it. Don't give up.
where am I going to give up? What am I going to do?
I know. And it's funny because there comes a time in every man's life, right? Midlife crisis,
Yes.
so to speak. I think it happens twice in a man's life, and I think that what happens, the evaluation that happens, one of those two times is you kind of look at your Rolodex, which for you kids today, I mean your contact list on your iPhone. But you kind of look at your Rolodex and you realize, if I were to go do something else right now, I'd have to like delete all of these people and start from scratch, because I know nothing other than what I do.
Yeah.
You know, and that is essentially the reason for going to LA. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is what I know how to do.
Yeah.
And what am I going to do? Go get a job
You know
in an
what, though?
office in the mailroom?
It's never that bad, though. Like, we're in a culture that shoves down our throat this notion that you don't have enough, and we're so sensitive to who's around us and to status. You know, who's better off than us, who's worse off, and we were so territorial with everything. I think, you know, these are just my theories. But if you sort of like step beyond that bullshit, you realize, oh my God, I'm healthy. I don't really have a lot of debt, and I get to play some pretty cool gigs every now and then. You don't have to eat too many punches, not like you do every day when you're doing things that you generally don't want to do, and have dreams. You
But
know?
there's another thing too, is that you and I and everyone else that's in the music business gets to be honest, right?
Yeah.
Because really honestly, if you don't like something about somebody that you're making music with, you can just go, fuck you.
Yeah.
And I mean it like that.
Yeah.
If someone in an office environment doesn't like something, they have to start doing heroin or something in the bathroom because they can't confront it head on.
Yeah.
You know Jim Martin?
Yeah, of course.
Jim Martin.
Yeah.
I've
lovely,
worked-
lovely man.
Lovely man.
Yeah.
But, lovely man, but most people would think he's arrogant and kind of a jerk.
No way.
But the truth is, Jim Martin is 100% shoots from the hip, tells it like it is,
Yeah.
right? Some people can take it, some people can't. I've been yelled at more times by Jim Martin in the last 10 years,
yeah.
right? But every time I show up at a gig, he goes, "I'm really glad you're here,
Yeah, he's a
because I know you're going to do the job right, and it's going to be great." And you know,
Big heart.
yeah, in 35 minutes, I'm going to yell at you because you're taking too long.
That guy, when he was 18, he was driving the Guess Who tour bus in New York. He'd never been to New York City. It was a huge traffic jam. And he got all the way to an underpass and realized at the underpass, next to a construction crew, that the bus was not going to fit under the underpass.
So the construction crew dug out a hole?
The construction crew, one of the guys, literally, this is literally what happened. He looks up at the window, up at Jim, and this is like the late 60s, I guess. And he goes, "Hey, asshole!" Like that. This is what Jim told me in the story. "Hey, asshole! You gotta back your truck up!" So Jim had to back up through New York traffic, you know, for like miles and miles. He met Elvis. He was at parties with Bob Dylan and stuff.
Yeah, he's got some great
Like
stories.
you, he should write down a point form, like treat it like a diary, you know, of just cool stuff that happens or that has happened.
People have asked him many times to write a book.
Yeah, no, but that's too much. Saying
No,
like,
but-
book is like
Well,
what the hell is that?
He won't do it because
Too much.
Because I think when you
It's like
when you're in
saying go do 4. You should really do 4 backflips off of
no,
that
but
cliff.
he won't do it. But the reason why he won't do it is really cool, and the reason why is because if you're put in a position of privilege like that, and you respect the people you've been with for 20 years, 30 years, however long he was doing it. I mean, the Guess Who's, we're talking at least 30, 35 years now or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're put in a position of privilege and you respect the people you're with, and you know stuff about those people,
You don't have to
why?
say that.
Yeah,
But you can
you
dress
don't-
up that stuff.
but you don't have to-
You still respect those people.
yeah, but
and put a
that's
nice
the kind of
tuxedo
story.
on
That's
them
the kind of story they want, though. They want the dirt.
Here's what they want.
You know?
I'm not talking about what they want. I'm talking about the
But he
fact
won't do
that
it.
that when he dies, you know,
When he dies.
you pass,
Yeah.
you know, on,
Yeah.
that the stuff is gone.
You know, I don't take
There-
pictures for that reason. Do you know that?
What?
I never, like, if I went, like you said that you had traveled around Africa and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you take lots of pictures?
A few, yeah.
I don't take pictures. I don't take pictures because I remember what I experienced.
Yeah.
And when the day comes for me to forget, I don't want to have to look at a picture to remember and sit there going, "Oh yeah, remember that time when we were in Dublin and we went to Bono?" You know, like I don't. It's like when the time comes to forget, I'll forget. It's okay.
All right.
But so I know it's true. I very rarely take pictures, and it's a bone of contention for some people. You know, some people are like,
Yeah.
"Come on, let's take pictures," and I'm like, "No, I'm good. I don't want to take pictures."
Just want to let it go.
I don't want to let it go, but I want to retain it for me.
But you're gonna retain it anyway. Why not
Yeah.
have both?
I don't know. I just don't.
The technology
don't
is so
flip.
convenient, man.
And plus,
Like,
the other thing too is
I
when
just
you.
took a picture of you right there.
Yeah, I saw that. But the other thing too is like the world experiences everything the same way,
Yeah.
right? So I don't actually need to take a picture of the Taj Mahal to remember the Taj Mahal because I can go online and see the exact picture that I would have taken anyways. The only thing is, you're not in the picture,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it's not about you, or you and I being there. It's about remembering the Taj Mahal, not you, because I'm with you
Yeah,
right
that's
now,
true, that's true.
right? And it's the same for everything. We experience
See,
everything.
this guy, you see, opens your mind.
You know, it's true though. We all, because if you go to the pyramids, you can only take a picture of the pyramids here,
Yeah.
or here,
Yeah.
right?
You can't experience
You
it.
can't, and some Germans actually just climbed the pyramids against the law.
I heard about that.
They
Yeah.
climbed the pyramids and they took some amazing shots from the top of the pyramids.
You know what they would say in Zen is that there really isn't any point, like you and I talking about things, putting one word in front of the next, is really such just a waste because we're experiencing the world in such a small, tiny little way, in such a linear way.
Right.
I have to put one word in front of the next, and when you look at it, this is what they say, and when you look at what surrounds us, it doesn't, happen one thing after the next. This wall doesn't exist before the clock exists, before your hat exists, and my face, all this crap. It's all at the same time. Yeah, I think like with traveling, when you experience, this is what I'm getting from what you're saying. You experience, the point is not so that you can have memories. I mean, maybe you disagree with me, but it's about being there and just living.
Right.
It's about your life
Exactly.
when you're there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you're gonna send me pictures from LA?
You know, I thought about that. I
You
thought
better
about,
wind this up
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they're cranking up. But
I thought about you know, doing a blog or something and sending pictures and stuff like that. But the funny thing is that some people are really happy about it and other people are kind of negative about it. A lot of it's like there's this big you know, the 49th parallel. It's as if there was a wall there.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that all Canadian musicians know that if you're going to really hit it, you got to hit it in the United States.
there's inferior psychology in Canada.
So, but there's also superior psychology, which says, why would you want to go there?
Yeah.
You know, and I've
political.
I've encountered that in the last couple of months, where some people are like, oh my God, hopefully you'll do really well, or actually some people say you're going to do really well, which is really encouraging.
Yeah.
And then there are other people who say, why would you go there? Why do you want to live with them?
prejudice.
Why would you, you know,
Yeah.
they have guns. What are you going to do for healthcare?
Yeah.
You know, and the reality is, I don't want to. I don't want to make it about the negatives. It has to be about the positives, and it has to be about how can I do what I do and be happy and continue doing what I do, and hopefully how can I also impact other people's lives
Yeah.
by doing what I do, and that's why I'm going, and that's a good way to end.
You know what? You can go, if things get tough, you come back. You go again.
No,
You know, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward.
you can never go back. You can't.
Physically.
You can never go back, because here's the thing.
Hang out in a
We're
go,
not
ice,
ending.
go ice fishing.
We're not ending, but I'm going to give you this last thing. I left Montreal in 1989. So if I think about Montreal, I'm remembering Montreal from 1989.
Yeah.
And so I can't go back.
I see.
Because
I see.
Montreal is not that Montreal anymore.
That's very existentially deep, my friend.
And I left Vancouver in 2000. So the Vancouver that I remember, and drastically different Vancouver now with, you know, all the buildings and things that they put in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Vancouver isn't what Vancouver was either. So if you leave a place, you can't go back.
I totally agree.
So there's no coming back.
Yeah.
There's only forward motion.
Yep. And
So-
here right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I feel about that.
Yeah. Beautiful, man.
Stop.
Okay. It's been great. He's one of a kind.